Hannah. Hannah.
Hannah, did you hear the news? The Macra Terror's getting animated! The Macra Terror's getting animated? The Macra Terror's getting animated! Woo! Oh, just one more thing. Ooh! Bye-bye. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 11, Episode 9, It Takes You Away. Well, this episode is a bit of a strange one. The plot sees the Doctor and her companions arrive at a cabin in the woods in Norway. The cabin is boarded up a little bit, and inside they meet a girl called Hannah, or Hannah, as it's pronounced. She's also blind, by the way. We've also got the first blind actress in the show playing this role. Although we have had deaf actors in the series before, in Season 17 and in Series 9. The girl claims that there's a monster outside and her dad boarded up the house to protect her from it. But it seems that this is not what it appears. In actuality, it's the dad's just put some speakers out to make a monster sound, so it sounds like it's coming from the forest. In actuality, there is another dimension, a mirror dimension in a way, that is created by the Scalix, I think it's called. And in between there is a middle kind of dimension. Can't remember the name, but it's where Ribbons, played by Kevin Eldon, lives, along with some flesh-eating moths. So the Doctor, Yasmin and Graham meet Ribbons inside this dimension, and then they go off to the other dimension after Ribbons gets eaten by some moths. His character was actually wasted. Sorry, but he was wasted. Kevin Eldon was wasted as the character Ribbons. It was a nice character, but he was wasted, and so was the actor. In the other dimension, the Doctor and Yasmin and Graham meet Eric, Hannah's father, and also discover her dead mother is also there somehow. It's because the Scalix, I believe it was. She is actually the Scalix presenting a vision of the deceased mother, and also it also does the same for Graham with Grace making an appearance, but it's not the real them. Hannah makes her way to this other dimension. Ryan just gets as far as the middle one and discovers that her mother is not really her mother. She's able to tell without being able to see. Not sure how, but oh well. Eventually everyone is sent back and the Doctor talks with the Scalix or something. What is it? I don't remember the name. And she talks to it at the end. And it's that point where people get the most upset with this episode, where they see a talking frog on a chair. I will say this about the Scalix as the frog thing. Guys, calm down. It's not the actual villain. Slash character. It's not the actual character. It's just a representation. It's just the form of the character it takes for that particular moment. Its actual form, probably thin air, to be honest. Yeah, I can understand if you don't like a talking frog on a chair, but just letting you know, it's just the form it takes for that time. It could take the form of anything else. It took the form of Grace and Hannah's mother earlier on, so. And the reason it's a frog is because Grace likes frogs, and that's why it sounds like her. They even mentioned it with the necklace earlier on in the episode. I will say the first episode, when it's looking like a scary horror story, wasn't actually that very interesting. It didn't really raise much tension, which is... I know it doesn't turn out to be a horror story in the end, but if you're going to pretend, raise some tension. The mystery wasn't even that much intriguing. It started to get more interesting once we got the more sci-fi element in. And what was the point of Ribbons and the moths? I really don't know. They were wasted. They contributed to nothing in the end. Really, the Doctor, Yasmin and Graham, and later Ryan and Hannah, could have found a way through the caves on their own, normal, with not the most threat could have been the fact that it's unstable, like they mentioned earlier, later, but besides that, it could have just been a normal cave. What I just said now reminded me of the cave from the Five Doctors, so I'm actually now wondering how great it would be if a Yeti turned up. Oh no, returning monsters this series. Okay, can we have it next year? And that's about it. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this episode, but I don't hate it. I'm not trying to stab it in its chest like most people are, and that's mainly due to the frog at the end. I've got a couple of problems with my chest as it is at the moment without needing a knife going through the middle of it. But I don't love this episode. Like I said, I've got quite a few issues. I've got a couple of issues, and it's not the most engaging. It's actually the least engaging episode since the Transagrum Conjurum. Why is it that I get the least entertaining episodes to review on the Universal's channel? In terms of how good it is, yeah, it's really good. It looks great. The visuals and execution is all great. Acting is all great. I don't know why people are saying the characters aren't. Well, I think they said the characters were not so good, but I think they've also said actors weren't so good. I have to disagree. The actors have been great throughout the series, especially Bradley Walsh, with his best moment being in Rosa. But we're not at Rosa, we're at this episode, and he does another fantastic performance here. And I think Tosin Cole and Mandip Gill also give great performances, as does Jodie Whittaker, and the guest cast, yeah, they're good too. I can see why some people wouldn't be so keen on the characters, but acting, I think everyone's done a fantastic job this series, certainly with the main cast, so I don't know what their problem is in terms of acting. In character-wise, I think some of the arcs aren't yet fulfilled, and I don't know if that's going to happen before the end of the series or next series. I think this cast is going to stay for next series. I think they're filming it now. Ooh, goody. I do have to say, I think having 4 companions in the TARDIS at this point in the series is a bit tricky. I think maybe what they should have done is started off with 1 or 2 and then collected the other 1 or 2 along the way, as it's proven quite tricky. The Peter Davison era showed how tricky it was to have all 3 companions along with the Doctor doing stuff. Nyssa had to take a story out in Kinder, and they had to kill off Adric in Nerve Shock just to sort out the problem, only for it to come back with Mordred Undead and Terminus, although with that it was only 2 stories. And with the earlier stories with the first Doctor, the companions got quite a bit of stuff to do in the first 17 stories, is that? No, 16 stories with the Chase, where there was 4 in the case of the Chase. But in this case, I think it's been struggling a little bit, as similar with the Peter Davison era, except it's not been giving anyone a break. I think maybe next series the other companions have to do a bit more stuff each, especially Yasmin. Besides that, I still think the characters are pretty great, despite not being completely utilised well. I think best utilised in this one was Graham and Ryan. I think Yasmin did get some good moments though. So anyway, that's it from It Takes You Away. I've been struggling with this one because I've not been feeling well, as you may have heard me throughout. In the end, I'm going to give this story a 7 out of 10. It's not perfect, it's not amazing, but it's still pretty good, and I don't have as much hate of it as everybody else does for the frog at the end. Really, no, actually, that was one of the better elements, actually. Honestly, I preferred the first and second act, the second and third acts to the first. In fact, the third act was a lot of fun around the 40-minute mark when I rewatched it. So that's it from me, and that's it from Series 9, apart from the last episode. We're hoping to do what we did with The Woman Who Fell to Earth with the next episode as well, except this time hopefully being everybody. So hopefully Jean will be there too. And then Ben is lined up to do New Year. So still got plenty of good stuff to look forward to, guys. And then 2019 is a new year. As for me, I'm finished. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Oh, one more thing before I go. Just one more little piece of news that I have to announce that you may already know, but just announcing it right now. And you can go and find out a bit about it later. Ready?